whatever they want. So I'm glad that Twitter put that little failsafe in.
Gotcha. All right.
Do you have any questions? Any
no,
other
I was
questions?
wondering if you know what happened to the other one.
Sure, yeah, and hopefully, I think did they get it back up and going? I can't tell. No, I guess not.
Yes, they did get it back up.
Did they? I don't see it on mine. All right, well, hopefully people transition over, and hopefully Alex will be joining us here shortly. Again, I'll just remind you guys, please share out the room. Let everyone know that we're live so we can max out the room tonight as usual. And if you'd like to join us up here on stage, just tap on the mic in the bottom left. Caesar, what's going on?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, loud and clear.
All right, thank you. I have a quick question. I'm just wondering if Celsius X is going to help us increase the yield on the app, or is just to brag tokens and transfer from to other chains? Thank you.
Celsius X is a very innovative piece of technology that's going to help in a lot of lines of business. So really think of it more like a brand new set of tools, not a single product or like a single service. This is a brand new capability that's going to help Celsius in a large number of different ways.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thanks for coming up, Caesar. Dog said, what's going on?
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for hosting this space. Zach, I wasn't sure if I understood correctly, but did you say that if you had $25,000 within Celsius, that would allow you to become eligible to be a platinum member?
No, it's if you're holding 25,000 Cell token, that will make you a platinum member, no matter your portfolio size. Previously, you had to have 20% of your portfolio. And while that works well with smaller wallets, it really has some huge negatives with larger wallets. And so we put this threshold here where if you have 25% or 20% of your portfolio in Cell token up to 25,000 Cell. And once you hit that 25,000 Cell mark, you're platinum no matter the size of the rest of your portfolio.
Oh, okay, I got it. Another question. I was trying to find where I can buy the Cell token. Do you know where?
Yeah, it's available on a number of decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, and then also for non-US exchanges like Liquid or Bitfinex, and a few others.
Okay, that's it.
It's also
Thanks, guys.
available on Polygon's QuickSwap.
On Polygon's QuickSwap, and then when I send it over to my wallet on Celsius, I'll send it through the ERC20.
No, you can actually send it through the Polygon network. Just do a test transaction first, but that's part of the Celsius X development, is that we're accepting Polygon transactions on certain assets, and one of those is Cell token. But just be sure to do a test first.
Yeah, sure. All right, guys. Thanks, man.
Yep, thanks for coming up, Dog said. Again, guys, please share out the room. Let's try to breach 200 before Alex gets in here. So if you're just joining us, please do that. And then if you'd like to join us up here on stage, just tap on the mic in the bottom left. Infinite, what's going on?
Hey, Josh. Hey, I've been a bit out of the loop with Celsius X. Could we get a quick rundown on what's its application? And then if it's a DeFi application, how secure is it, considering with the recent wormhole attack in terms of our liquidity?
Yeah, so we're not releasing all the details yet, but the product is coming out later this month. But specifically, it does remove an attack vector like what we had with the wormhole attack, where you have a DeFi contract bridge, and that's something that Celsius is doing internally in bridging those, not bridging, but I guess minting those assets on chain, and then using CCIP to verify the wrapped asset that we have. So we're not minting coins that we don't have, but our minting process on those chains is much more secure because it's not through a very complex smart contract procedure that was attacked during that big hack last week.
Okay, awesome. That's me.
Thanks for coming up, Infinite. Mocha James, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Just had a question about using Celsius X. Is the idea that we'll be able to use our Celsius wallets to?
Again, we don't have all the details out yet.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you're just going to hang tight till we release it later this month, and then you'll see the kind of full capability there and how to use it.
Okay, because I'm hoping that's the case because I didn't have a lot of luck with MetaMask, but I will wait impatiently. Thank you.
No worries. Don't have long to wait. Thanks for coming up, Mocha. Momo, you're up next.
Thank you guys for having me. I just have a question about the swap on the Celsius app. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, I just have a question about the swap. Like, why I cannot swap the sell token on the Celsius app? This is my first question. And my second question is, what's the difference if I earn interest as a Celsius token, not any other coin?
So in the US, we haven't been able to give US users the ability to swap into Cell token. I believe here in the near future, US accredited will have Cell token added to their swaps, but we cannot offer it to US non-accredited users due to the regulation.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Momo. Did that complete your questions and comments up here? All right, I guess so. JJels, you're up next.
Awesome. Thanks for having me up, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to ask a specific question to kind of all you guys, because all three of you are on Cell Team 6. In terms of the changes being made to the Cell utility and the Cell tokenomics, obviously all of it is about changing the incentive structure of the Cell token, and that's being done with specific aims or results that you guys have in mind. In terms of what you guys are looking for in terms of the token distribution and how many users are owning the Cell token and how much of their portfolio is allocated to the Cell token. And I'm just kind of curious to get inside your guys' heads, inside your guys' minds in terms of what you're specifically kind of looking to achieve. Are you looking for 50% of Celsius users to be owning the token? Do you want them to be owning, like having 5% of their portfolio allocation to Cell? Like, what's the kind of distribution amongst the user base that you're looking to achieve? And how much are you looking for people to own? How are you thinking about it? How does that work in your guys' mind as the people who are looking to go in and change these incentive structures to begin with?
Yeah, so I mean, there's no set numbers that we're trying to achieve here. That it's really everything we want to move in a positive direction. We want more users to hold Cell token. We want more users to earn in Cell. We want more users to pay loans in Cell. So there's not like a certain goal that we're trying to achieve there, but we're trying to rework the model so that it works with our current user base and it increases adoption on all of those fronts. Because the Cell token has a very, very powerful community binding effect. And if we just have a small group of people holding all the tokens, it doesn't work nearly as well as when we have a large percentage of the community holding those tokens, because it really brings us all together. It gives us a common interest, and it motivates people to help grow Celsius because they want Cell token to do well. So it's kind of those incentives that we want to make sure that we can put in the right order so that people are incentivized to earn it. They are incentivized to hold it, and then that works in everybody's best interest in the long term.
Cool. And I got to join the space a little bit late today, and I'm just wondering, is there any update on the roadmap? Is that going to be coming out within the next little bit?
Yeah, so we do have our roadmap, and it's going through the approval right now. So when that's ready, it will be released.
Great. I think that answers my questions for the moment. Thank you very much.
And Giles, I'll just comment on that as well. When it comes to the Cell token, what I like is I want people to see what I see. Okay, and I see a lot of value in it. But what I think is going to help us all is if, especially being on Cell Team 6, if we can help to increase the utility in certain ways, which we're striving for, then more people will see more value and they'll appreciate the tokenomics more of what the Cell token already has. And if we sprinkle more things on top, I think it will become more attractive and draw more eyes to see the existing structure that's already there and the additional sprinkles, if you will. I'm hoping will catch people's attention and say, "Hey, let's have a closer look at this thing." And when they look, they'll say, "Oh, wow, a limited supply, but the burn, all these other utilities that the Cell token has, discount on loans," and then they'll see some of the things that we're working on now. And I think that's going to draw a lot more eyes to it, which is really, really what it's all about. So yeah, we'll just keep at it, and as things develop more, we'll let you know. But I don't have a specific number to answer your question. My number is everyone. I want everyone to fall in love with Cell Token. So that's my number, and the more we can do to show more utility, I think the better.
Go ahead, Jels.
No, I mean, I had asked for you guys to all input. Thank you for that, Scott. I don't know if you wanted to say anything, Josh, but yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah, I was just going to say we do actually have targets on volume, accessibility, adoption, and growth with the company, but we can't go into depth on them. I just want to kind of reassure you on that, as we do often talk broadly in here, but rest assured that we do have actual targets.
It's fantastic to hear. Thanks for tossing in that little tidbit. It's very much appreciated.
Yep. Thanks for coming up. 3C, you're up next.
I love the new app. I downloaded it today, but when I hit on swaps, it says not yet in my area. Do we know when that's going to be live?
No, we don't know when swaps is going live in individual areas.
Okay. That was my big question. I was so excited to see it. I hit the button and it said, "Sucks to be you."
Yeah, that goes for everybody. We don't know when swaps will go live in your specific area.
Okay, great. That was my big question. It would just be easy to swap around some tokens that I could swap into Celsius, or vice versa,
Yep, absolutely. Hang in there. Thanks for coming up, 3C.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Jacob, you're up next.
Yeah, trying to get my Matic over to QuickSwap, and I'm getting it over to MetaMask. I'm on the Ethereum mainnet. That's where it's showing up, not on the Polygon mainnet. And I believe that's the issue. Do you guys have any insight on that, or do you have a tutorial that you could recommend?
I'm not sure. What is your problem exactly?
Well, I'm sending the Matic over to MetaMask, and it's
where? From where are you sending it?
Celsius.
Yeah, it's going to be on ERC20.
Right, but wouldn't that automatically show up on the Polygon mainnet?
No.
Okay.
It's going to be on ERC20, and then you have to bridge it over.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So the ERC20 is what I need to figure out. Then I guess is the issue.
Yeah, we're accepting Polygon transfers in on certain assets, but all withdrawals are still ERC20.
Okay, yeah, I just couldn't find any good tutorials for QuickSwap yet, so still looking.
Yeah, Aaron Bennett has a great one. Go to his channel, Aaron Bennett. Okay. He laid this out very, very clearly.
Is that on YouTube?
Yep.
Got it. Thanks, guys.
Yep, and good luck. Hardy Sailor, you're up next.
Hello, gentlemen. Everybody else, how's it going? I had a couple questions, but I'll just start with this one first on the definition of utility. So I let's just say I'm a mechanical engineer. So I take a look at utility a different way than maybe you guys use it or the crypto community uses it. I thought when we did the ICO, the utility there was to fund, provide funds for Celsius Network to use as needed. I think cell pay is a utility, but I don't understand why we use utility when we talk about platinum or increasing the interest rate, which are all great things. So I really just wanted to kind of get your take, and actually maybe not just from one of the team, but if everybody agrees what utility means, it would help me.
Yeah, I don't think it is a highly specific term, so it is used very broadly, and it's to discern it from other things. But when we say utility, I kind of see it as a membership type of asset. When you hold this membership asset on the platform, you get premium benefits, but that's just kind of generally referred to as utility. But I don't think there's a textbook definition of utility in crypto. It's just a way that things have kind of worked out due to the rules and regulations.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, okay. If it's more of changing or using it for regulations and such, I get it. Okay. They just sometimes get confused. I remember at the beginning or early on last year, there was talk about using Cell to, potentially participate in mining or some ventures that the company was getting into. So perhaps Celsius members could, have
Yeah, I mean that's all stuff that you can do. I mean, if you really think about it, these are all just digital tokens, right? Like even Bitcoin itself is just a digital token. It doesn't do anything in itself, but the way that that token gets utilized in an economy or any given system, that's what kind of defines its utility within that system. So again, an NFT could be worth millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, it's just a digital token that has an image attached to it. So does that have utility? Some would say no, some would say yes. But people have a lot of value in these digital assets, one way or another.
Okay. Well, no, I appreciate that. The question around the metrics of what you guys are shooting for, I appreciate they should be confidential, but at the end of the day, isn't it about increasing the volume so that we have this liquidity so that we're not, the cell token's not as volatile, that we've got a lot of users, and so let's appreciate the utility and use utility to get more users?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, liquidity is a huge part, and the partnership with Polygon is playing a very large role in that. And something that really hurt cell token accessibility this year was gas fees. And there was a huge amount of users that could no longer economically get any cell token. And so that just went against us the whole year. And now that we have much more optionality through Polygon networks, the accessibility part is getting resolved very quickly.
Thanks for bringing that point up. That's encouraging. So if I have one more question, it's more of a concern for me. And so I had a margin call, I guess a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Everything went fine. It's a sell-backed loan. But to my dismay, I wanted to retrieve that collateral that I used to meet my margin call because the price has gone up. And I understand that there's a rule against reverse margin. And could you explain that for me? Because that's quite onerous.
Yeah, so we don't do reverse margin calls all the time. Usually the asset has to appreciate significantly, and then they do them like once a month. But cell token itself, the margin call rules are different because we're really trying to reduce the leverage in that market as much as possible. What you can do is pay off that loan with another loan and kind of manually refinance. So let's say you had a cell token loan for 10,000. You could open up a new cell token loan for 10,000 or a Bitcoin loan or whatever, and then pay off that existing loan to return your collateral, and then now you've locked in new collateral at the current price. But for the normal reverse margin calls, they're usually done at once a month, and then I think they're not doing them on cell token right now. But again, you can open and close that loan as needed.
Okay, well, I had reached out to Tal, and hopefully I'll hear back. I'm going to sort of your point that you made a couple of weeks ago again, Zach, about premium sort of membership and white glove service on some of these things. If you look at my record and how long I've been with Celsius, and that if I'm not a hodler, then nobody's a hodler. So this is a one-off that I used. So if I have to redo the loan, that's a good option, but a bit onerous. So, but it's better than nothing.
Yep, and thank you for being a hodler for a long time. We appreciate you always coming in here and participating as well. Do you have any other questions or comments tonight?
No, thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Guys, we're about to breach 200. Let's share the room out. Let's get over it before Alex gets in here, and then we should be good to go the rest of the night. Also, if you want to join us up here, tap on that mic. Join us up. Sorav, you're next.
Hi. So my question is, when Celsius will add Sandbox token, the MetaMask token?
No date on Sandbox right now.
Are any plans?
We got no information on it right now.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, Sorav. Stay tuned. Thanks for coming up. Brian, you're up next.
Hey guys, good evening. So I was using the swap feature the other day that I am grateful that I am one of the people that have that. And so for example, the maximum swap, I was using the SNX token at the time, and I was going to swap into USDC. And when I did that, let's say the SNX token was $4,400, just for a round number or whatever. When I do the swap to USDC, it's $4,380 worth of USDC. So it's $20 less than what the SNX is worth. And I know there's no fees and everything with Celsius, so I was hoping you could explain to me why there's a $20 difference doing that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no fee and there's no spread that Celsius is taking, but there's a spread in the actual market. So when you go on any exchange, if you go to Coinbase Pro right now and say, I want to buy $100,000 of Matic, you're not going to get $100,000 of Matic regardless of fees, because you're going to eat part of the bid. And that's the spread that just exists naturally in any marketplace. So in the platform, if you see any price difference, that's exactly what it is. It's just the spread from the liquidity providers that we're getting. But I mean, that's all institutional pricing, and Celsius is not taking any piece of that whatsoever. And that's why we update the price every 5 seconds so that you get the most up-to-date pricing possible.
Okay, so that number is just going to be larger or smaller depending on how much liquidity there is.
Exactly. Yeah. If you like prepare to do a trade and then watch the price change every 5 seconds, you'll see that discrepancy change every time or every 10 seconds because the market liquidity is always in flux, right? But yeah, Celsius is not taking any fee or any spread on that. That's just the spread of the actual quotes that we're getting.
Okay.
And if you were to buy smaller amounts, you would see those go down kind of proportionally. Large orders are going to inherently have larger spreads.
Oh, okay. So if I just do smaller swaps, I would have less of a spread.
Yeah, I mean, as a percentage, it's probably not going to be too drastic because I think the max swap you can do is 100,000. But you know,
yeah, I'm not that high yet, Zach, but I'm trying. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
yeah,
thank you.
I mean, that's kind of how it works.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thanks for coming up, Brian. Tecmo, you're up next.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yep.
Brian, just real quick on that. I've used Swap a lot. I'm lucky, one of the lucky people that have swaps, and generally the tiny spread that I found is usually around 0.18%, around that range, 0.18 to 0.2%, depending on liquidity and things like that. So I just always have that in the back of my head. So doing a small amount or a large amount's not really terribly relevant because it's a percentage. But
And it's funny, Tecmo. Like, I think this is something we see in a lot of our products is we're being so open and honest, and we're providing all the information there that when anybody sees anything that looks anything like it might be out of place, everyone's very critical. And I'm not criticizing anyone that asked that, but it's just very interesting to see, um, where Celsius is always acting in the best interest of the user. And we do that on every product and every service that we have. And so even when there's this tiny little discrepancy, people want to know, hey, what is going on here? I thought I was getting no fees. Why is there this, $20 change in a however large order? And people get very, very critical about that. But then imagine what your bank is doing to you. Imagine what all the other exchanges are doing to you. That's it's interesting because we bring so much attention to this, but people are getting screwed in so many other ways that they just don't see it, and they almost don't feel that they're getting screwed just because they don't see it.
yeah, it's an excellent point because I originally got started on crypto.com because I was told by someone that there are no fees. And you go in the app and you trade or swap or whatever you want to do in there, and you don't see fees, and then you're like just confused because you don't have as many coins as you thought you should, and then you realize that their spread is not 0.18%, but it's much higher, and you start realizing the game. But when Celsius comes out and is as transparent as they are, people people are just like they're just the littlest thing they're like, wait a second, because they just don't understand the whole game. That once you've been in a while, you're like, oh, okay, so this platform is charging a fee and a spread, or they're just trying to hide it through a withdrawal fee. And you start running once you start running all of the numbers, you realize that, okay, if you are able to swap for a tiny spread and withdraw for free, you end up with more coins. I mean, that's what Alex always says, just do a comparison. That's all you got to do. But anyway,
Yep.
I'll move on to my comments and questions. The I recently did a presentation, and one of the questions that was asked of me that I didn't know how to answer, or didn't know the answer to, was, does Celsius provide P&L statements? This is just something that someone asked when I was trying to kind of educate them on Celsius.
No, there's no profit and loss statement because we don't know your profit and loss. So the only statement that we provide is an income statement because we do pay the rewards we pay are considered income.
No, I'm sorry. I meant for Celsius.
Oh, does Celsius itself have a P&L? I don't think we have that publicly yet because we're still a private company.
Okay, that makes
I think,
sense.
yeah, in the company's house in the UK filing last year, the year before, we had a P&L, but not in the US yet.
Okay. Yeah, that's just one of those when you start bringing someone over from TradFi stuff, they ask those types of questions, and I didn't know the answer to that.
Yeah, again, I think it's one of those things like, do other private companies post P&Ls? And I wonder if they're asking that same question to them.
Yeah, I think it's more like they expect it of Google, and so they were asking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. If you're a public company, for sure, then of
yeah.
course. But
So I just don't think they didn't know that you guys weren't public, and so I should have answered it
okay.
that way.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, just I realize there's probably not, but and if you guys already talked about it, my apologies, but any update on fiat on ramps or anything like that?
No, but I think we're getting close. But we'll announce that when it's ready to go live.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thanks for coming up, Tecmo. Rod, you're up next.
Hey guys, thank you for having this AMA. Just a couple of questions. The first one is regarding the Celsius platform. I just recently started using the platform, and I was curious. I'm out here in Texas, and I saw a bunch of people posting their screenshots, updated screenshots, and they have the stablecoin options. And I don't see that in my dashboard. So I was wondering, is that
Yeah.
because of the state regulations?
Yeah, unfortunately, Texas blocks you from, or blocks us from allowing to let you access stablecoins besides multi-collateral DAI.
Got it. Got it. And the second question that I had was regarding the Celsius X. I'm not totally clear on what that platform. I mean, I know the concept, but with the liquidity that we provide to Celsius, would that reflect on that platform, and would we be able to have a consolidated view, or is that going to be a completely separate front?
Yeah, again, remember, Celsius X is a set of tools that Celsius is going to be able to use for the benefit of the community. And absolutely, we're going to utilize community assets on Celsius X, but it's not like a different portal or a different product that you're going to be locking into, right? It's not a separate company. All of this is done in-house, and it's going to be a set of tools that first the company will utilize, and then soon after we'll be able to, I think, make more accessible to the average user. But in the beginning, it's more of an infrastructure play. It's like the AWS that Amazon has. They provide all the web services for the world. Celsius is building this to provide all the liquidity services of the crypto world.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much, guys.
Yep. Thanks for coming up. Altcoin, you're up next.
Morning or afternoon, depending on where in the world everyone's calling in from. Quick question about the app at the moment. Is there a known issue with the loan section? When I go to pay loan, I get a white screen and the blue Celsius logo in the middle, and it goes nowhere else. So, short of sending in a screenshot, I just thought I'd ask while the Twitter Spaces was on.
Oh, no, I haven't heard of that, but very well could be an issue with the app release today, and I will let the team know. And you could also tag Tal maybe on Twitter.
Can do.
Yeah, we'll go fix that.
Otherwise, shout out to all the ambassadors and all the Aussies.
Thanks for that, Nev. Thanks for coming up. And Matthew, you're up next.
Hey guys, great looking new app release. It's pretty awesome to see. For the last speaker, I'm curious for y'all if he has the newest update or not. That might affect whether he's having issues there. But my question, I think, was already answered, but I saw with the new app release the spiffy new buy button, and I got all excited, but it looks like that's not really quite ready to be full on. I know you can do it with the fees with the credit card and all that kind of stuff, but I guess that's where it will be when it launches.
Yeah, we're getting close to the fiat gateway, but no, it's not live just quite yet.
I got worried that somehow Virginia blocked you, but that's not the case, so that's good. Good deal. That was my question.
Yep. Thanks for coming up, Matt. Next up, Arshawn. What's going on?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. My question was about Solana. When is Solana going to become available on Celsius?
It's coming up very shortly. I think in the next week or two, we'll go live with Solana.
Awesome. Yeah, that was my only question.
Thanks for coming up, Arshawn. Next up is Flo Amado.
Hey guys, thanks so much. My question is, I noticed that I have a swap button, but it seems like it's not working. And then, do you know when it's going to be available?
Yeah, everybody got a swap button, but we don't know the individual areas. So just hang tight until it opens up, and we'll it will notify you by email
Okay.
when it goes live for you, and
All
same with
right.
everybody else. Yep.
That's cool. Thanks so much. All right.
Yep. Thanks for coming up. Next up is Fiona.
Hello there. I've just downloaded the new app, and I see that the big blue button on the bottom right hand side has gone now in favour of a bar across the bottom. But we don't seem to have any. I do like to go to community and have a look and see how many
Yep.
we've got of this and of that, and I just don't see any way of accessing the community. Can you tell me what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, it is a little hidden. I had a hard time finding it myself. You're actually going to click your profile picture in the top left, and then that will
Oh.
bring a second menu. But yeah, it's not completely obvious that that's where it would be.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I was just afraid we weren't going to be able to see any of it and I would really miss it. So thank
Oh
you.
yeah, no, goodness, no, we're not getting rid of that.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all. Thanks.
No, Fiona. Jason, you're up next. And guys, share out the room, please. Thank you. Jason, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Question from someone wants to know: is there a place in proof of community that can be the collateral? All loans are collateralized. Could it be verified?
I don't think so, because a lot of the loans that we do are with institutions, and sometimes we take cash collateral that's not on chain. So I don't think that we could prove all of that all the time, because cash doesn't live on the blockchain.
Okay, gotcha. I'll report that back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jason, for asking that. I remember that Celsians Club where that person was eager for that answer, and thank you for following up for him.
Oh, definitely, always.
Thank you for coming up, Jason. Hardy Sailor, welcome back.
Yeah, just a quick one. It's been 2 months since we last heard that Bank to the Future was happening in 2 days, kind of thing. And what's the latest there?
Yeah, I think we should ask Alex when he comes in. Last I heard, it was on track, but again, that it was supposed to be a much sooner thing than it has been. So let's ask Alex when he comes in. What's the latest on that?
Sure, I can do that. Just curious why Alex is the only one who we can ask. Isn't there anybody else on the team that's managing that? I know Alex is probably a big part. In fact, he joked about there was like an email waiting from him for him to sign, but just
Yeah,
curious how that's managed.
I think it's between Alex and the legal team,
No.
and I'm not privy to any of that stuff, so that's why I have to defer to him.
Okay, thanks. That's it.
Yep, thanks for coming back up again. Ash, what's going on?
Hey guys, first question. Long-time listener, been an ICO holder, so I've been around for a while. Just posing a question in relation to the app update across both platforms and the usage of the swap button in the navigation toolbar. I'm just wondering if there was any usability or A/B type testing done to see if that button would cause more confusion by showing it without showing reasons why swaps isn't available.
Again, one of the areas that I wasn't a part of, but I hear the frustration, and maybe that's something that we could remove for those that don't have swaps yet, or make it clear that it's not live before you click on it. Because I saw a lot of broken hearts on Twitter that they were given the false impression that they were going to have swaps, and then it turns out that it wasn't live for them yet.
Yeah, sure. I guess we've just been sort of seeing what the community feedback's been like, and as you say, it's like we're sort of going, well, we may see a reduction of queries about swaps because of this, but I think possibly because there hasn't been reasoning, perhaps, or some sort of overarching comments outlining that it may not be available in your region is perhaps adding a little more confusion than perhaps assisting But we're interesting to see what the sort of feedback is like with that for the next sort of, I guess, short period until that's reviewed.
Yep.
That's everything. Thank you.
Lucia, welcome up.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Great UI in the app, in the new app. Really loved it. It's very contemporary, makes a lot of sense. And I noticed that I was, clicking around to see what's available, that under Sell Pay, there used to be two options. One was click here to get a link for other apps, which I never quite understood what that meant. And then there was a second one, click here to transfer assets between you and your friends. And that one is gone. And that was confusing to me. So I wondered if anybody knows about that, and is that part going to return or what?
Yeah. Actually, one of the first projects when I was interning with Celsius was looking at CellPay and how to make it better. And I remember back then, this was a couple years ago now, that like 95% of all the cell pays used the link and didn't use the friends contact. And so I'm guessing if that trend is still true today, that they just removed it because it was not a utilized feature.
So when it says, I didn't do it because I didn't have anyone I wanted to switch any coins with today, just, experimenting. So would it be, say I wanted to transfer some coin to Josh, for example, over Twitter or Telegram? Is that facilitated by that link?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that link works the same as it used to, where you can, it's just any clickable link, like any other clickable link. And then you give someone that link and they can redeem the cell pay for whatever it is. And then if they don't redeem it within 7 days, then the link automatically expires and the funds are returned to your account.
Okay, so it's available to people on Telegram or Discord or
email, text message, anywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Now the only limiting factor is if cell pay is not available in their area, then they won't be able to redeem it.
Okay.
If they do have cell pay and they can redeem it, then all they have to do is click on that link. It'll open their Celsius app and they'll say, "Bam, you received X amount of whatever."
Yeah. Okay. And obviously, we still can't trade Cell itself, right?
US accredited should be getting that here in the near future.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks for the explanation.
Oh, I'm sorry, but for cell pay, you can't send cell token via cell pay.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Nobody can. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.
Yep. Thanks for coming up, Lucia. Dan, you're up next.
Hey guys, sorry, I know you get a lot of questions about restrictions, but if we obtained 25K of cell token through quick swaps or something and became a platinum member, would that unlock certain features that are restricted from like basically due to local state restrictions?
No, unfortunately, being a platinum member isn't that powerful that we can't usurp local laws. So that doesn't give you any additional features, but what it does do is make the features that you do have in your app much better. For example, swaps, much higher limits, and earnings, 25% higher rewards every week. That's the way that we can use Cell Token effectively on the platform, is by enhancing the services that we can provide to you.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks for coming up, Dan. B, you're up next.
Howdy. Yeah, I was wondering, is there any way to get rid of essentially trace amounts of leftover coins?
Unfortunately not. We are working on a dust conversion mechanism, but because we pay yield by the minute, there's virtually always going to be some level of dust, because say you get your rewards on Monday and it sits in your app for 10 minutes. Now you're going to get rewards next week because you earned 10 minutes worth of yield on those, whatever, 500 units of USDC. So maybe it's something that we can negate, like show only up to a penny's amount, and then maybe do something on the back end. But that's why it shows those micro amounts, is because every moment that your asset is in the app, it's earning yield, and that goes into the next week, and it's like an impossible, never-ending loop. We just can't stop paying you. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. I guess when I was looking at possible solutions, I saw people's concerns about the number of transactions for tax software purposes, essentially bumping some people into higher brackets of more expensive tax software. That was
Interesting. I didn't realize that was an issue, but yeah, I guess it would. Like if you at one time held 20 different assets in the wallet, then every week you're going to get 20 different transactions. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to mitigate that, but that's definitely a large inconvenience for people.
B, did that conclude your comments and questions up here on stage?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks for coming up. Guys, share the room out. Let everyone know that we're live, please. And if you'd like to join us, just tap on the mic in the bottom left. Alex is now with us. Alex, are you ready? Alex,
it's a battle every week. You got to warm up. You got to have something to eat. You got to get a water bottle, and then you go to war.
Yep, he's got to do his "Mama made me mash my M's." I cried.
What's up, guys?
I didn't know you're a crypto influencer, right? Now you're gonna have a shocked look on the AMA videos.
Very good debate too, Alex. I wanted to let you know that. I thought you did an excellent job in that.
There was no debate. There was no debate. I dropped the mic like 20 times over there.
Yes, you did.
Well, welcome in, Alex. You have any thoughts in your mind? Anything you need to share with the community before we get rolling into Q&A?
Well, big launch today, right? V5. Yeah, give us 100 if you're using the new version, if you like it. All right. Cellcat should definitely do it because he leaked it out before everybody, right? Cellcat was like, ding, it's out. Here it is. It's coming soon.
Yes, he did do that.
Yep. All right. Very good. So, yeah, and there's a bunch of features there that actually are all good for sale token holders, right? So Zach can give you guys the detail. I don't know if you guys covered it before I joined the call.
Yes, we talked a little bit about the 25,000 cap, and then a lot of people are just curious about what our metrics are for success when it comes to the Cell team and what we're really looking to do, and the interesting ways we can expand Cell utility.
Yeah, so we definitely continue to add stuff. You can see every few days we have a release with either an improvement, a new feature, a new capability. You saw a big funding announcement with Polygon, right? So we were one of the large investors there. I think we did 40-something million. I know they listed us as the last one, but in terms of dollars, we were one of the top investors in the round. But they definitely did not list people based on their contribution. They were like, okay, we have to include Celsius on the list, but let's put him as the last guy. That's everybody thinks that they put like a little check, But anyway, if you heard Sandeep, you know how excited he is about Celsius and what we're doing together. So that's all I care about. What else? We have, so I think success for us is, again, growing the community, right? Making, we want to grow to 100 million. We're 1.5% there, right? So we have, what they say, 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. So we're done with the inspiration part. Now we're grinding through the perspiration. That's the hard part, right? Scaling everything up. So that's why we need everybody's help. We need everybody's kind of the community coming together and helping us scale to new levels, and convincing people of why Celsius is the best choice, versus others who have all these hidden fees and hidden whatever, and they pretend to be like Celsius, but obviously they're not. So I'm focusing the team on exposing all the ways that our competitors lie to their customers, right? So we're gonna start publishing those, all the hidden fees and all the places where they make money on you that you don't know, exposing all of their lies, you know. So that's coming soon. All right, You want to take some questions?
Ready to roll? All right. Jerry, you're up next.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I had two questions. First, regarding the swap rollout, I just noticed that it doesn't appear to have anything to do with location. My neighbor has it, and I don't have it. I just wonder if somebody could address that.
Yeah, well, so it does have to do with location, but it doesn't mean that if you're in a location that is enabled, that we're not missing something on your profile. So if you don't have it and you're accredited, that's because something is missing on your profile and they just didn't get to you yet. So the best way to do it is to basically flag the team, just saying, I would reach out to what email, Zach? What's the best email to reach out to on this?
For swaps, I would say send it to me directly, Zach at Celsius.network. And we can take a look at your portfolio and make sure that all your KYC is up to date, because that sounds like the issue here.
Great. The second question has to do with loans. I noticed in California, we have 0% loans. I'm almost afraid to ask this. I'm wondering how long that's going to last. And if it does stay at 0% loan, what additional benefits do we have holding the cell token?
Additional benefits being?
We're holding the cell token. We get 0% loans in California. And one of the benefits of holding the token, I guess, is that you get discounted when you pay the loans back, right?
Well, you still get all the other benefits. I mean, it's not limited to just that, right?
No, I guess I'm asking what the other benefits are.
As an accredited user, it's getting higher yield on your weekly rewards. Now you can hold just 25,000 cell and get 25% higher rewards every week. And then the other major things are much higher swap limits. It'll affect credit card rewards when that comes into play. And then getting higher sell on sell yield as well. And then what's the other stuff that there may be some things about withdrawals that we're considering. So, it's all part of this rework of making the utility more apparent, because like you said, if you're unaccredited, you're in California, there can be limits on that utility, but this is all the stuff that we're looking at and making it way more attractive to be a cell token holder than it was just a few months ago.
Okay, great. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for coming up, Jerry. And I'll just add that there will be benefits into Celsius X as well. Next up is Hilux. What's going on?
I'm good. Hi, Alex. I'm Hanny from Canada. Two presidents, let's call them P and M, attempt to bridge a gap between two worlds, but sitting at the furthest distance they can sit, apart from the largest breakfast table in the world, the optics don't look good. What could they learn from Celsius X as it works to bridge the gap between DeFi and CeFi?
So I didn't get the first part. Who's sitting? Who are the two presidents?
It's Putin and Macron. We're sitting at this monstrous breakfast
Oh
table,
yeah.
and that doesn't look good for people trying to come together to bridge a gap. So I'm just asking you sort of a funny question. Forget
Yeah.
that. That's all nothing. How could they learn something from what you're doing with Celsius X to bring together DeFi and CeFi?
Well, the two ends of the table are not DeFi and CeFi. The two ends of the table, to continue your metaphor, are TradFi on one side and DeFi sitting on top of CeFi on the other side, right? So it's kind of like those are the two opposites, right? Um, so Macron or France, even though they're part of the European Union and they're part of NATO and they're obviously an ally of the United States, they do play the game of being trying to be the diplomat with Russia. They love that kind of being in the middle and pretending like they are on both sides, as so I think they're trying to find a way to make sure there's no war in the Ukraine. There's no chaos because that's bad for France, right? Bad for tourism, bad for the euro, bad for a million other things. So they're playing their own hand, right? They're not here to um, necessarily make the world a better place.
Right. They're not helping the community.
Yeah, definitely not. They're helping the French community. They're just not helping. Um, so we we are trying to really again bridge the liquidity gaps between different chains, different platforms, and to do that, you either charge fees, like BitGo charges fees to wrap Bitcoin and create WBTC, or you create value through other means, like, for example, bridging liquidity across chains and through providing those liquidity pools, right? Through enabling liquidity pools, you just make money from the liquidity, which is obviously much harder than just charging you for wrapping assets. So we're trying to basically make crypto a much more liquid and large pool instead of a lot of small pools that are not really touching each other. And that's how we're going to bridge the gap towards TradFi, right? Which is sitting on the other side of the table. They definitely don't want to collaborate or cooperate or um, build anything. But I do have some news political on the political front, that I don't think are public information yet, and I think that is why Bitcoin is going up so fast. So, and you guys want to hear it, or should we move on to the next subject?
Yeah, of course we want to hear it.
Okay, just checking. You never know. People will be like, "No, Alex, please don't spill the beans. Please don't." But it sounds like Janet Yellen is going to move on, and guess who's going to replace her?
Alex
Gensler.
Mashifsky.
Alex Wishes. No, definitely not me. I'm not
Gensler.
under consideration, but but Gensler is the prime candidate, and him leaving the SEC is considered to be a positive thing for Bitcoin. And I think the rumor is out, and that's why Bitcoin is ripping higher. But again, I don't think he's going to be a much more powerful man as head of Treasury than as the head of the SEC. So I'm not sure that these are sustainable gains, meaning that he might be saying even worse things when he is Treasury Secretary, right? And blocking Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs even more harshly, or stable coins, right? So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it looks like basically it's going to take a few months for him to get through the hearings and get nominated and get his office in place and so on. So that's what I'm hearing.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing, Alex. Hi, Lux. Did that conclude your questions?
That was great. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for coming up. Cellcat, what's up? Cellcat, are you there?
Hello? Hello?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry, my phone is so laggy. I'm considering getting an iPhone. Okay, big thing. So I had a heart attack just a second ago. I'm fine. I'm fine. I've got everything's good. But for like literally 10 seconds, I was spamming everybody thinking that I had just lost a bunch of funds. I didn't. Everything's okay. So big warning. Right now, the top of Google is recommending a fake version of QuickSwap. It is the first thing. It literally, I've never seen this before. At the very top, it looks exactly the same. It's super scary, guys. So do not even think for a second. Like it's, I literally, I'm trying to use MetaMask, right? I think that this ties into, why use Celsius. For like 5 seconds, right? I'm using my MetaMask and I'm trying to interact with the protocol, and it's just immediately I'm like, oh, what happened? What's going on? And it's because these guys are trying to screw you over. So I was quick and I'm lucky, and I'm sending it right into my Celsius account where it's going to be safe. But this is the kind of stuff like I can't believe it. It's the exact same. They completely reconstructed the entire application. It's crazy, man. So like seriously, it's if you think you're being smart, if you're out there in the space, you got to use Celsius. You can't, even if you think you're safe with your MetaMask and your your DeFi protocols, you got to be careful. I love QuickSwap; they are a fantastic partner, and I use them all the time. But that's why I didn't question it, because I was like, oh, this is, this is it's 1-to-1. So just be careful, guys. Be super careful. I didn't get affected. I'm fine, but that was like so close, and that can happen to anybody, and it blows my mind. And when people say like not your keys, not your crypto, how about not your keys, not your keys? How about clicking on the like a carbon copy of something, like it's just absolutely insane. And today we had to call out another scam. There's someone trying to pretend to be Celsius network support. So we reported that guy, we got it dealt with. The scammers are out there, guys. They're getting really good. Seriously, hodl in your freaking Celsius account, because it is ridiculous. That's just what I'm trying to get out there right now. Again, I'm safe. Everything's fine. It's just I can't even believe I can't believe it. I feel so dumb, but it's just like wow, it's crazy. Use Celsius. Holy cheese.
Take some breaths. Take some deep breaths. So just relax, okay? Everything's okay.
I'm all good. I'm good. I'm fine.
Just relax. Take some deep breaths. You're all right.
Yeah, Cat, that is a very, very scary thing. That almost happened to me once. It's terrifying, but I'm glad you made it out safely. And that does bring up a good point about Celsius security, and that's an advantage of our platform. And yeah, just hats off to you for recognizing that and getting out as quick as you can.
Yeah, there's no such thing as quickswap.org. Never use that. I thought, oh, it's .org. That sounds so legit. Like how did
Wondering how I ended up
it's crazy. It's .exchange every single time, even if it's at the very top. It's messed up, and there's so much stuff like that. And I think this is why we need Celsius X moving into the future, so that we have some kind of verification, some kind of a thing that says, hey, look, these are the guys that are actually going to help you, not the 500 clones of the same DeFi project. Because I'm looking at, there are like 3 or 4 at least, probably there's probably tens of them, versions of these DeFi protocols. People are just like forking things and like stealing the brand, and it's super sketch, guys. So just be careful, and just follow what Celsius is doing, follow the official accounts. It like, this is why I'm a Celsian, because otherwise I wouldn't have even questioned it, and I would have been screwed over. But I knowing that I'm part of a community, and I'm part of a platform that keeps their assets safe like this, like it's so much better to just be a Celsian, guys.
You're up next.
I'm sorry, what was that, Josh?
You there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, sorry about that. Araceli, you're up next.
Hi everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. First of all, I would like to thank you guys. Bless you, bless you. I would like to thank you guys for retweeting Asel Freedom Santos tweet in regards to the room on Spanish, the Twitter Spaces in Spanish. That made a big difference. A few more people showed up, so thank you very much, and we would truly appreciate if you guys could continue retweeting that. And then I have one question from the community, and it was if there could be a possibility to add in the settings to change the amount denomination. So, for example, instead of displaying dollars, that if they could change it to pesos or any other denomination. That's the first question.
Yeah, so again, unfortunately, today we don't support other currencies or other denominations, and it's more of a legal issue than a technical issue. And so I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. But we are working with a few partners that have these features, and for example, Nuri, our partner in Germany, I think does display it in euros. And we're going to have other partners around the world that will display it in their local currencies.
Awesome, thank you. I will pass on the message. And now, may I ask one personal question? So, Alex, since you already shared those news with us in regards to Gary Gensler, does that change your current prediction of Bitcoin with that move if it happens?
I think, again, the price of Bitcoin mostly has to do with the rate of adoption, retail adoption, and I don't think that rate changes if Gary Gensler is or is not, Secretary of Treasury or stays as head of the SEC. So, again, we have supply, we have demand, and if demand is greater than supply, then prices go up, and that's what's been happening consistently after every cycle. So, I think most experts now, if you look at uh, Plan B, or you look at most people are now kind of leaning towards the range that I'm talking about. Some of them are just saying north of 100,000. Some are saying 200,000, but most people are in that 150 or 140,000 range. So I think, again, it doesn't mean that's where it's going. It just means most experts have a consensus, right? That is kind of a reasonable rate where we're gonna see a blow off top.
Awesome, thank you. It's all about the fundamentals. Yes, thank you so much, and I wish everyone a wonderful evening. and hope to hear from you soon. Bye.
We can't hear you, Josh.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. Make sure you guys are sharing out the room, letting everyone know that we're live. And if you'd like to join us up on stage, tap on the mic in the bottom left. Tecmo, you're up next.
Hey, Cellcat, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you didn't have to use one of your 9 lives on that incident. Glad you recovered quickly. Um, with regard to the predictions, Wells Fargo just recently came out, with a nice little chart about how, and I'm sure you saw this because you watch James as well, Alex, but like um, how it parallels the internet adoption. And I think, 140, 150K, if it happens this year, next year, it largely doesn't matter, right? I mean, we are in this for the long term, so the curve is gonna eventually go up with adoption just massively, and it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of, when, not if. And if we're all here in hodl mode on Celsius, it doesn't really technically matter when it happens, right? So that's just my thought on it.
Yeah, and talking about huddle mode, I think you can now swap in huddle mode. Is that true?
That is true.
All right. Did you guys tell that to everybody, or you just kept it to yourself?
I I think we've been talking about it in our daily Celsius club and other areas, but I think the word is slowly getting out.
Right. So one more reason to get swaps, right? To make sure that your information is accurate. Again, if you're on this call, if you think, again, if you're accredited and you don't have the service in the United States, or if you're overseas and you feel like again somebody else in your town or in your city has it, that means you should have it too, right? So just let us know and we'll check and see what's missing in your profile. We still have a few 100,000 people to activate, so it's not like we're done. But we can kind of push your name forward just to see why the feature is not turned on for you.
Two quick questions. Solana, do you know if that's still on track for Friday?
Yep, we're still on track. No changes. So you should see it. We should be ready for my AMA.
Awesome. Yeah, because we're talking about what Cellcat was talking about with why it's good to be a Celsian. James from Invest Answers said he recently unstaked his Solana due to the Ukrainian sort of stuff going on. And you don't got to worry about that when you have your Solana in a platform like Celsius. Like you just earn yield, and you're not subject to the kind of risk that you do with validator slashing and all of that. That's what I told my friend, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's a really good point. I think I'm going to unstake and move it to Celsius as soon as it's available."
Yeah, well, a lot of people stake and they don't understand that they're basically entrusting. They don't even check where the staking company is located, right? So the reputation of the staking company or the chances that they don't audit their pro platform or anything like that, right? So there's obviously risks involved with that as well. So that's part of what we do, right? We make sure that all that stuff is, uh, perfect, and that there's no additional risk, and that we can basically, again, if you're using a platform in the Ukraine and there's going to be war breaking out there, obviously not a good situation.
Yep, exactly, and that's why I love being a Celsian. For one final question, I already kind of asked this of Zach, but his lips are tighter than yours, so figured why not go ask the other parent. Do you have any updates on fiat on ramps?
Yeah, no update yet, but we're working on it. So we, like I said, we have one last item remaining, and I'm just waiting for. It's not a technical item; it's more like a regulatory item. So we're just waiting for that to be cleared, and then we're good to go.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks for coming up again, Tecmo. Cellcat, did you have something to add?
I just want to say I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm sorry for coming in the chat really panicked. I am totally fine. People ask, I was just listening to that last call, um, where you were on, Alex, and if people want to know why CFI needs DeFi and why they need each other, it's literally for this exact reason, you know. So
Yeah, CFI and DeFi, two sides of the same coin.
exactly.
Thanks again for that, Cellcat. Taylor, you're up next.
Hey, thanks for having me up. Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts, Alex, about the like kind of predictions you mentioned earlier on the second half of the year. I think I've been seeing like a lot of like the 200K, the second half part of the year by like Tom Lee or his firm or whatever. Why you think they're predicting the second half of the year? Like, what's behind that? Thank you.
Well, we are at 44,000, right? So that's why they're predicting second half of the year. They want to give more time for Bitcoin to get there, right? You have all these stats, which months are positive, which months are negative. So if you follow all of that, you do need basically to get to the end of the year for the price of Bitcoin to max out.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, I was wondering if it had something to do with like maybe the hikes slowing down and inflation coming down, because I've heard that they're like anticipating. This is like totally off topic of Celsius, I guess, but they're anticipating 7 rate hikes. So are they gonna hike? Like, what's your opinion on the rate hikes? You think inflation will just slow down and be more transitory, like Kathy Wood thinks, or you think it's here to stay?
Uh, yeah, I think inflation is exaggerated. Again, a lot of it had to do with COVID and supply chain issues and so on. But we're now 2 years into it, so I think we're kind of at the end of that cycle, not at the beginning of that cycle. So things should improve over time. But the Fed is not going to wait. The Fed is going to make sure that um, they're going to squash any chance of inflation, which means that they are going to um, press the button at least 4 times. Right, 4 times is just 1%. For going from 0 to 1% is not a lot. That's not going to do much. So yes, I think that they're going to do more than 4 times.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you taking my question.
Thanks for coming up, Taylor. DZEP, you're up next.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to say first off, Alex, I was in that last call with Metis, and even as a decentralization maxi, I think I see the benefit of CFI and DeFi cooperating to speed up adoption versus TradFi. So hopefully more people get on board with that, even as someone who sees decentralization as the end goal. And wanted to say good job on the new app. It looks awesome. That was a few of my critiques that I would have had before today, but like really happy with how the new app looks. And oh yeah, so the person who was mentioning the quick swap fake, I think that was Cellcat. One thing that I've done to try to mitigate that kind of risk is using bookmarks and only using the MetaMask browser. That way, you're not like Googling for URLs and stuff like that. But yeah, that's all. I just wanted to say I'm happy with the new app and can't wait to see where you guys go in the future.
Yep, thanks for the feedback. Again, a lot of work went into the design, the upgrades. I think you guys can see it's much faster, and we fixed a lot of stuff. So again, the team did a great job, and also we got a lot of feedback from you guys on kind of still further things we can improve. So we're already working on version 5.1 to kind of patch up some ideas and improvements that the community sent us.
Awesome. Thanks for coming up, DZEP. GVP, you're up next.
What's up, everyone? How's it going? My question is for Alex. It's a two-part question. A, do you think Russia is going to invade Ukraine? And B, what's the potential implications on the crypto market?
Yeah, so nothing good if Russia invades, right? So obviously, any kind of instability will cause the stock markets to crash because they'll be terrified of United States going to war. I have some friends in the military, and they already are deployed in the Ukraine. So we the United States haven't even waited. Special forces, all that stuff is already deployed, uh, and I don't think Putin is. He's not really a risk taker. A lot of people think that he's like this crazy Russian who just shoots from the hip. But actually, you have to remember he's an ex KGB agent, right? So his job is counterintelligence, right? His job is to kind of antagonize the United States, get us to, as close as possible to doing something stupid, but then not pulling the trigger, right? He knows that obviously the United States is 100 times stronger than Russia, and he's not going to risk all the chaos that comes with going to war, even if it's over the Ukraine. So he's trying to get the United States to postpone adding the Ukraine into NATO. That's really the most important thing for them, for Russia. And if he can achieve any kind of delays, or at least indication that the United States will consider delays, or the European Union or whatever, he will probably just stand down and not do anything. Now, again, if Russia does invade the Ukraine, I can tell you that China is going to take advantage of that instability, to maybe do something in Taiwan as well, which is obviously going to be global chaos. So if bad things happen, they usually come in in at least in tandem. So it's going to get worse, right? And none of that is good for Bitcoin. None of that is good for us, people who live in the West. So let's hope that you know maybe that the French Prime Minister showed up with a bunch of caviar or I don't know what, or vodka, and uh, that Putin got convinced not to do something stupid. So we'll see.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming up to stage, GVP. Good question. Norm, what's going on?
Hi, good evening, guys. A couple of comments. I heard the one person try and get rid of his dust, and I thought of a way that might work, at least to work for accredited investors. If you switch everything to earn and sell, then all your other assets don't start growing in numbers, and they'll stabilize after a week, and then you can swap them out to one coin like USD, whatever you want to swap it to. You can't swap it to sell. Swap them all to USDC, and then if you want to get out of cells, then swap back, and all your dust is gone. I think that works. That was one comment. I may be wrong. I understand that I have a couple little issues with the new app, but I've reported them already, and it looks good. Some of the coloring in the lighter, other than the dark, is very hard to see on my iPhone, but looks pretty good. And that was my only comment. I have no questions. Thank you.
Thanks for the feedback.
Yep. Thanks for that, Norm. Lucia, what's going on?
Yeah, hi. I wanted to come back up, and since Alex is here, I want to say congratulations on the new app upgrade. It looks really lovely, really very contemporary and easy to do. And in fact, I wanted to comment about the dust situation. So somebody had mentioned before that having dust means that you have all these different bits of coin hanging around, and yes, they do earn a little interest, and they do create a lot of notifications. And I was one of those people who, for the first time, went and bought one of those coin tracking software programs for my taxes this year. And because I had all those notifications and transactions, it bumped me up to a higher paying level. So I was okay, but it would have been nice to keep at the lower level. I don't think you can. You cannot swap dust into any coin. Believe me, I've tried it. So I'm really I'm advocating if we could swap dust into USDC, for example. And if you can't work with the cell token, at least we could put them in USDC and call it a night. So that's my comment on that, and that's it for me at the moment.
It's kind of interesting how the dust is like literally immaterial. We're talking about just a few pennies worth of asset, but is a huge eyesore to users.
Well, it's not only an eyesore, but it adds the number of transactions. So when I imported my API into the Coinly software that I bought this time, it increased the number of transactions, and then they have certain levels. If you have a certain number of transactions, you pay one thing. If you have more, you pay more, et cetera, et cetera. So all of those little tiny bitses, which seem insignificant, actually added up and bumped me to a higher level, and I had to pay more for it. So not the end of the world, but a little annoying, to be honest.
Hey,
Go ahead, Alex.
Lucia, if you actually generate the API key, I think you might have submitted a .csv file. I know what you're talking about. That happened to me, but you have to generate the API key, and then it does it properly.
I did do the API key, and it transmitted all my transactions that I've ever had with Celsius, from when I started back in 2019, which was nice to have all that listed, but it included all my little bits of dust.
Zach, what are we doing with helping people convert all their dust to sell or to something else?
Yeah, if we can get that pushed through, where we could have like how Binance does it, where we can just take all of their dust, maybe on the back end, we can get it down to the Satoshi level and convert that into Bitcoin or Cell token, depending where you are. Maybe that would be the best solution to this issue.
All right, so you're gonna push this again with the product team?
Yes.
All right, let's see if we can get that in the 5.1 patch.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thanks for coming up, Lucia. Richard, you're up next.
Richard, we can't hear you.
I think he's calling us from the space station.
It does sound like that. Richard, maybe get to a better location, and I'll call on you again in a few minutes. But for now, I'll pivot over to Bymask.
I do have another update, by the way. You saw in the last DMA we talked about $30 million that we recovered for the community. It's now up to $50 million. So we're talking about I think it was 4,500 people that basically send money on the wrong chain or send money to the wrong wallet or got stuck on layer 2 or whatever, right? All these mistakes that people do. 50 million recovered that was basically stuck in the ether, and now it's in people's accounts on the Celsius network. So again, thanks to the team and all the working people who put all the utilities that are necessary to recover all of that.
And all those assets are now generating yield, right?
Yep, it's good for us and it's good for the community. So it's all generating yield.
Perfect. All right, Richard, do you want to try this again? I noticed you restarted the app. Ooh. Richard, I don't think it's going to work for you tonight, man. It's pretty bad. All right, guys, we're going to have to move on to the next person. Bymask, you're up.
Oh, hey, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Alex, I had a couple questions for you. So I was on last week's AMA, I think before you arrived, and you might have commented on this, but on the upcoming roadmap, looks really great, by the way. A lot of the things you're doing recently is really impressive, and it's just happening. So so frequently these days that there's good news and new updates. It just feels like a very exciting time. But the one thing I was curious about is that, upcoming, maybe this month, maybe next, I read on one of your posts that there's going to be this concept, I think, of a cell burn based on total yield. And I was curious if you could maybe comment on that. And then I know, you know very well from surveying the Celsians, like how many people, for example, would earn all their yield in cell. But do you have a way of kind of understanding or help me understand how much an additional cell burn that would be once that is live?
Yeah, so a few comments on that. One is uh, um, any kind of submission, any fix like this that we're contemplating. We usually need sign offs from different departments, like especially like if changing the burn or anything like that. So we normally run around the company and try to get the heads of different departments, security and the guys that do the business model and the legal team and everybody else. So we're still collecting signatures. I think we're missing like one or two more to be able to do burn based on um, revenues based instead of based on the cell token that was purchased. So if we get all their signatures, I think we can try to get it implemented. Again, this doesn't require development. It's just a different math that we do, and then we buy a different amount of tokens. So that's in the works, and hope to finish that soon. And the second part was what again?
Well, I was just curious based upon, and I don't know if it will remain, 10% of the total will be burned, but if that's the case, would that end up being like 100 million on an annual basis that would be burned in cell if it's 10% of the total yield paid?
Well, again, it's not going to be. It's going to be basically a reduction from, I think, from 700 million to 500 million. So it will be a $200 million reduction over a period of time, but it's not going to be 1 or 2 years. It's going to be more time than that. But it would definitely accelerate the burn. And we publish, I think, on every AMA, we publish how many more people join or how many dollars were added. So if you wait till Friday, you'll see the kind of like the increase in the burn and how many new dollars signed up to earn and sell.
Okay. When you just did that math of the 200 million, how'd you do that? The 700, 500, and saying 200 million.
Like not dollars, but tokens, burning down 200 million tokens down to 500 million total supply.
Okay. Got it.
But to comment more on it, the idea is to have the burn track closer to the total growth of the company and total rewards paid would probably be a good metric of doing that. And we've feel that with the community, and there has been a lot of excitement around that.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a very exciting thing to continue to do. Okay. Yeah, I had another question, Alex, if I may. Just curious if there's anything more you're able to tell us about the mining portion of the business. Obviously, I know you were very proud of it, with it being a unicorn. Sounds fantastic. Seems like you entered the business at a very opportune time. If I'm kind of looking at the timeline, it was around maybe the China mining ban, so you probably picked up some relatively inexpensive rigs. But either case, it seems like a great business to be in. Is there anything more you can tell about the production capability, how many coins it's throwing off, or anything to be able to garner a little bit more information about its value?
Yeah, so we I think we mentioned that we have over 20,000 rigs running, and obviously we're going to be increasing those numbers, and that's part of where we earn yield. So if you think about sources of yield, we have, the traditional kind of like institutional lending, exchanges, DeFi, and then obviously mining is a big component of the stuff. Again, these are mostly like S19 miners, so you can do the math on what just Google and see what each miner does as far as like monthly or yearly production. You can do the math of what we generate.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for coming up, Bymask. Jack, you're up next, or J Mac.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? Hi Alex, hi Scott, how's that? I got a couple quick questions here. One, we were talking about Celsius recovering funds that were sent to Celsius on a different network or what have you, that they were able to recover. Have you been able to recover somebody that sent sell token to say Coinbase? I actually have a friend in this position.
Yeah, so we can only recover things that were sent to addresses that we control, but on a different layer or in a different protocol or in a different whatever, right? So if you send something to a different company and they control that address, we can't do anything. We can't just go into. That's like going into somebody else's house and getting their mail or whatever, right? So we can't do that. We can only grab the things that were sent to us, but sent in the wrong format or wrong layer or anything like that.
Thank you, Alex. So that would be up to like Coinbase if they were gonna be able to correct that at
You
this
mean
point.
if they were like Celsius, right?
Correct. I got another question. The 1099s come out. I'm a Michigan resident, and I got two of them. And I got one from the Hoboken, New Jersey, and one from London. Any?
Yep, everybody got two, unless you signed up later in the year. It's when we did that switch over from the entity that faces U.S. customers. About the first half of the year was the UK company, and the second half was the Hoboken. So that's why you get two 1099s, and by adding them together, you get your total income that you receive from Celsius.
Perfect, Zach. And I just want to give a big shout out to Javi. He already gave me this information on the midday Celsius Club. Everybody should come check that out. A lot of great information. And he already gave me this information. I was just sharing it with everybody else. Have a great night. Take care.
Thanks for coming up, J Mac. Hardy Sailor, welcome back.
Thanks, guys. Hi, Alex. Couple of legal questions. Can you comment on the progress of getting a license in Texas so we can get swaps? And the other question on the legal side is Bank to the Future, when that's going to show up. It was about 2 months since you last talked about it.
Yeah. So Texas again, I don't have an update. We gotta submit it and we gotta wait for them to approve it. So I don't have a date or anything like that. And Bank to the Future, we gave them all the information. They have to finish their due diligence and then they're gonna go live with it. So again, it's frustrating that it's taking so long, but it's in their hands.
Did that answer your question, Hardy Sailor?
Yeah, sorry, I had to actually had a comment or actually follow up on the Gensler thing. That's very impressive there, name dropping like that. How about KPMG? That was pretty big news today. What's your take on them going over to the crypto side?
Well, look, all these guys driven by money, right? So if they see enough money in the space, enough companies moving over, then they don't want to miss out on the revenues, and they're all going to, one way or another, they're all going to be doing what they didn't want to do 2 years ago. Like they're all they all need the revenues, right? So, but we'll see. I'm teaching Gensler's class next week in MIT, so we'll see if maybe that would get me elected as chair of the SEC or something.
That would be, yeah. Then Bitcoin would really, really rocket. I know you mentioned about the team collecting stories about hidden fees and what our competitors are doing. There's been some really shocking tweets about what BlockFi has been doing to folks that had loans, and it looks like people are starting to realize just what they're all about or not about. So it's good to see folks understanding what Celsius has always been true to. And appreciate all you're doing. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks for the feedback.
Thanks for coming up, Hardy Sailor. Socknug, you're up next.
Hello. Thanks for having me up. Super excited for the Celsius X and QI DAO. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think that would be really great. But I actually have a question about a legal precedent that might have just been and what your take on it. So someone in Tennessee, they filed a civil lawsuit on the taxes that they paid on earned Tezos tokens, and it turns out what they argued is, as earning crypto is viewed as property. It's just getting more prop, and there's no tax event until old, and that through, and they got refunded. So $300. Didn't just want. This is like an incident. As we say, a nothing burger.
Well, I think the IRS kind of issued a directive about similar stuff for staking, right? So they're basically saying until you sell, you're not going to have to pay taxes on stake coins. So that kind of tell what you were saying or what you were just mentioned sounds very similar. So I'm not surprised that judges are kind of following the same directive that the IRS has already given all of us.
So, is there any clarity now that you can advise to, or what qualifies as staking, or kind of something that's being thrown away? I'm kind of unaware of where the progress where we're at.
I don't know. I don't know the. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what qualifies or doesn't qualify. So I would probably just wait for clarification either from a tax advisor or from the IRS, right? So, and again, there might be local states or federal rulings, and so we have to wait and see what they say.
No doubt. I just want to know your take as a chain link holder. That's something kind of unprecedented, honestly.
Yep.
Thanks for coming up, Socknug. Reagan, welcome in.
Hey, Josh. Thanks. I was just wondering regarding the app updates. Everyone's going on about getting a new app. I don't have one. I'm an Android user. I had it for about 12 hours and then it disappeared and there's no updates. I'm just wondering when Android can expect to join in the fun. Thanks.
From what I know, Android has been released actually ahead of Apple. So if you don't have it, it's probably because it's like a rolling, basically updates. So it's probably gonna hit you guys in the morning. Well, it's morning now, I guess, in Australia. So you should see it already. If not, it's probably gonna happen during the day.
Awesome.
And
Thanks.
Ozzy,
Sorry.
Is there beef going on between you and Necro Strategy? I've seen some shots fired.
Just a little bit of fun. That's all.
Okay, right on.
That's how you get
And it's
followers. You just throw some bombs across, and then
yeah. Oh, by the way, Zach, Nick's mum's here. She says hi.
well,
If only Nick was good.
Yep, we have the loan queen with us, Tal. So if anyone has questions about loans or any requests, I think I saw her earlier in our New Jersey office, and she's on her way to. She's boarding a flight in about an hour. So if you want your wish granted, you have about, 30 or 40 minutes left.
I was just opening here I was looking at magazines here at the airport, and I'm just, checking magazines out, and then I see Alex's face looking at me
Really?
from Bloomberg. Yeah, Bloomberg. I just shared with you the pictures. I was like, oh, here you
Really?
are.
Let me see. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'll send it to Cheryl. I was like, I guess this is my magazine for today.
Oh, look at that.
Very interesting.
Wow.
So make sure you guys are taking advantage of Tal in the room while we have her here for the next few minutes. And Reagan, thank you for coming up. Ash, you're up next.
Hey guys, thanks for everything. I have a quick question. I'm using the new app, which is excellent, looks awesome. So I'm on actually the tax report screen where I see a number. It says like earned this year, but my 1099s actually display a different number. So I was not sure, which number to go with. JMac did ask my other question where, the two 1099s that we got, one with the UK address and one with the US address. So that's address. But I just wanted to understand the discrepancy in this number. And my second question was just to understand, we do get rewards in Celsius. Are they supposed to be treated as staking rewards? Because, we issue a 1099. So I just wanted to get some clarity on that as well.
Yeah, well, it's complicated, right? Because it really depends what coins you have. And this ruling is a new ruling from the IRS. So if you, for example, only have Cardano with us, then it's 100% staking. And you can, in theory, just follow the new guidelines and claim that as, basically not claim it because it's not income yet until you sell it, right? Versus if you are, if you have Bitcoin or other assets, and the income is still considered ordinary income. So it really depends on what asset. If you have a mix of assets, then it's even more complicated. So, uh, the magic of the tax system in the United States.
Yeah, right. Cool. And then the discrepancy of the number, which I see on the new app versus the 1099. Maybe that's a bug or something
So
like that.
so remember the app tells you what the value is now, but when we do the 1099, it's at the
Got it.
time
Okay. Got it. Okay.
time that the year has ended.
Makes sense.
So
Okay.
so those numbers will never be the same.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming up, Ash. Steven, you're up next.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, hi, everybody. Just a quick question about the app, and it may have been answered in the new app, the update. I'm right now in Texas, and I know Texas is not right now crypto friendly in a lot of areas. But the app, I'm with two other Celsians, and one's on an Apple, two on an Apple, and I have a Android. And we've all tried to get the new update. So is it because we're in Texas, or is it just a question of time and maybe it'll be available tomorrow?
Your Android or Apple, you said?
Well, I'm on Android, but the two Celsians that I'm with in the same house right now are both on Apple.
I don't know the answer because I didn't get the update either. I'm trying to get it right now. Actually, I haven't.
You should write. You should write to the CEO. I hear he's very helpful.
Yes, CEO at Celsius.network.
That's it. You got it. All right, I'll
Okay.
check back in. Maybe it's just a time thing, and hopefully we'll get it tomorrow.
Yep. Let me see if I have the. I'll force an update here. I was busy all day. I didn't have time to even check the new
No,
app.
I got the email. I'm very excited. We all got the email, and I was even on the phone today with the team in Las Vegas about something, and they said, "Oh, did you get the update?" And very, a lot of excitement in the air. And I just was asking, maybe if it's a time thing, a day or two, no problem. But if it's again because of Texas, it would be just disappointing.
Yeah, it shouldn't be because of Texas. So,
All right, all right,
but I forced the update and I have the new version. So, um, so I think you maybe have to just restart your phone and force the update.
perfect.
Yeah, maybe
All right,
delete that app and then restart.
okay, all right. That's also good. All right, thanks, guys. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
Yep. Thanks for coming up.
Have a good evening, everybody. Bye.
You as well. Melina, you're up next.
Hi, everybody. George, Zach, Scott. Thank you for hosting this room. First question to Tal. When loans in Nevada?
Oh, we're working on it. We actually needed an office in Nevada, and now we do. So that was one step closer to our license and opening Nevada.
Awesome. Thank you, Tal. And then
Of
for
course.
Alex, would you please tell us more about the partnership with Public Mint? Because as reading about it is very similar to what Celsius and Celsius X are actually doing, bridging CFI and DeFi.
Yeah. So as you guys know, we have APIs and we integrate with different providers to help them offer more yield or more services to the community. And many of them like Voyager and Bitfinex and others just use Celsius for as one of the foundations or of their yield, right? Because not everybody can hire 800 people and run global operations and do mining and do all that stuff. So they just basically leverage the fact that we did all of that and just integrate with us and offer. They might offer a little bit different service, a little bit different mix of things, and that helps customers pick and choose. Like for example, they have different languages or they have a different set of services. So we're definitely here to enable the community to grow and obviously invite many new partners to use our infrastructure to provide these services. That's part of what we do every day.
And what is the main reason to pick Public Mint out of other companies out there?
Well, it's not that we pick them versus others. It's not like, okay, we thought they were better or whatever. We have dozens of partners, and we implement a few every year. We implement, whatever, 10, 20 new ones, and so it's just a question of processing as many of them as we can.
Okay, thank you, Alex.
Yep.
Thanks for coming up, Melina. HP.
Hey, what's going on, guys? First and foremost, I know it's been a minute. Hope boy, you're doing well. The app looks amazing. I have just Josh, like a 2-3 part question. I'll try to make it quick. First thing is, I overheard you say with the app and the swaps, mine says better. How long do you think would that be in a sense of for that to be available?
Yeah, everyone says beta right now, but again, it's depending on your location, your KYC, and then licensing. So no dates on specific areas, but we're trying to get this to everybody as quickly as we can.
Thanks, Zach. All right, cool. Yeah, better. Sorry about that. And another question. business wise, if you open your own business in another state, are you allowed to sign in with your EIN number and stuff and have it all count? I know like certain states have different restrictions. So is that available? I know that's like a rookie question, but
Yeah, it's not a rookie question at all. It's called a corporate account.
gotcha.
And yes, depending on where your business is located, is where you can have your corporate account. And there are a few restrictions and limitations, but a user in Texas could have a corporation in New Jersey, and then their corporation would their corporate account would follow the rules of New Jersey. But if you want to find more information about that, email corporate@celsius.network, and we can have you talk to somebody and get the details.
Great, great, great. All right. And this one, last one is for Alex. I know Wyoming is, they say, very crypto friendly and stuff. From your end, what do you hear about more sorts of that? Or you hear other states complying with just crypto regulations and stuff like that? In that more so question.
Well, I think states now competing with each other to be more crypto friendly. You're seeing Florida, for example. Obviously, Miami is super aggressive at becoming the crypto capital of the world. Right, the mayor there is competing against the mayor in New York and other mayors to invite as many people as possible. And so I think, again, if you're a politician and you're saying bad things about crypto, or you think you can survive without crypto, you're probably never going to get reelected. So I think more and more politicians understand that, and that's why you're seeing less and less negative rhetoric against crypto in general, right? And specifically about against Bitcoin.
Got you. Sounds great. Thanks a lot, guys. And Zach, you said corporate at Celsius network, right?
Corporate@celsius.network. Yep.
Thanks a lot, fellas. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thanks for coming in, HP. Spin, you're up next.
Yes, yes, yes. Quick shout out comment as well to the Lone Queen. I got margin called, which was an excellent buy the dip strategy. So it actually all worked well. I got enough time. So I just want to thank y'all for how you run your loans and not being predatory like all these other platforms out there. And then the comment was around the dust. It was just a crazy idea I got, but if I had the option to donate my dust back to Celsius for it to end up getting burnt or whatever, I would probably do that, especially if that could be some type of a tax kickback at the end of the year. I don't know if this is even remotely possible, but I just wanted to put that out there because I do think y'all got a very strong, supportive community, and we all want to see the tokenomics improve and the price go up.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We'll call it the Dust Fairy campaign. You know.
Yeah, because it's pennies for us, but y'all got how many millions of customers, and if all of us pitched in, I'm pretty sure that could go a long way.
Yeah.
And is the swaps available in Canada and Ontario, or is that we're still waiting?
I don't know. I have to. Do you guys know if what's happening in Canada?
I think the rollout has started in Canada, but not everybody has access yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we I spoke today to the team about staffing up or adding more people to the swap team. So we're trying to again move some more people to accommodate all of that.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so the last thing for me is the whole suggestion with donating the dust. I'm pretty sure if y'all put out a Twitter poll or something like, and you frame it in a way that would be beneficial to the token and potentially a tax kickback. But even if it wasn't a tax kickback, me personally, I would donate the dust if I know it could help the token.
All right, I'll run that. I'll run that survey on my Twitter and see what happens. So you just gave me a good idea. So we'll see what we'll use that to convince our team to take action.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Love you guys.
It's time to dust up Celsius. It's been 4.5 years. We gotta clean up all the dust in the house.
Nice one, Alex. Great idea, Spin. Thanks for coming up. Rob, you're up next.
Yeah, hi Tal. If you're looking for office space in Nevada, you should give Zach a call. He might be willing to sublet his living room for a few extra cell token a month.
Well, that's a good idea. You know what? We'll think about it. Even though we have a beautiful office, but you know what? Zach can be a nice host. That's what I heard.
You should see his living room. No, I'm just kidding. I have a question about the uh, loans against sell, the 0.1% rate that's coming. Is there any update on that, or the structure for how those with pre-existing loans will refinance?
Well, do you have the new app?
Eagerly waiting for it, but it hasn't come down yet.
Well, check your app for an update about the sale-backed loans. If it's not live yet, it should be any day now.
Wonderful. Thanks very much.
Of course.
Rob, any other questions or comments?
I'm good to go. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming up. Garrett, you're up next.
Hey guys, thanks for letting me chime in here. I'm brand new to Celsius. Just downloaded the app tonight. Currently hold my Bitcoin and ETH in BlockFi, but I came across Alex earlier on the Metis spaces that got cut off sort of prematurely, I think, and so kind of found my way over here. Just I guess first my question would be what's the differentiator, the pro for maybe moving my assets to Celsius over something like BlockFi, and and then my second question would be, who could I talk with regarding some DeFi opportunities with Celsius? Who would that be?
Yeah. So I think Celsius pays much higher rates than BlockFi on basically every coin. And again, if you're earning in sell, you can earn even more, like 25% more. BlockFi doesn't have, you can't earn in a token. They don't have that. Also, we have much cheaper loans, so no 2% origination fee, which they charge you every time you start a loan with them. And we just raised 750 million, so we're better funded than BlockFi. So I would say those are the kind of like the main differentiators. But BlockFi is a good company. I have nothing. There are many other companies that are much worse than BlockFi. So compared to the other guys, you're in good hands, but obviously not as good as Celsius. And as far as DeFi, so Celsius is one of the largest, if not the largest, DeFi user. We both take loans and lend out on the DeFi platforms. So, but we do it all in an automated fashion, meaning you don't have to do any farming or move coins or pay gas fees, all that stuff. We are managing for you, and you're just getting more coins every Monday. If you saw that, I think it was a CoinDesk article that kind of did a survey of all the people using DeFi. They found out that more than half of the people actually lost money compared to just holding Bitcoin or Ethereum. And with Celsius, you're basically earning that yield on top of that. So you're definitely beating, unless you're a real pro on DeFi, you'll be getting much more coins if you're using Celsius.
Is there is there a specific person there on the Celsius team that I could reach out to? I'm with Reimagined Finance, and we do make it easy to access yields from farming, and I just want to maybe see if there was some synergies.
Yeah, I'm thinking who's the contact. We don't have Zach. We don't have like a DeFi at Celsius, right? We don't have like a.
No, but if you could message to me, I could shop it around to the Celsius X team and see if someone on there would be interested.
Sure. Yeah, I'll reach out with a message, Zach. And then just lastly, before I go, I was going to say, Alex, on the previous space that you were on, I agree with you 100% on the point that you made with the road to DeFi requires some centralization. One of the ways that I think about it is TradFi may be getting disrupted, but ethics is not, and people like relating and doing business with people, and that requires ethics. But I appreciate y'all letting me on here. Thank you.
Well, look, I mean, I don't know what the latest number is, but it's like I think it's over $3 billion was lost on DeFi, right? Because of hacks and rug pulls and scams and whatever. So DeFi is treacherous waters if you don't know where you're going or how to navigate it, right? So a lot of people think, oh, I just connect my MetaMask and I click a few buttons and I earn yield. And then they wake up the next morning and they realize that the protocol they chose is not really a safe one, right? So for most people, they just don't have the time or the knowledge or the expertise to kind of to track all that stuff. And that's the work we do to verify and make sure that all that is kosher. And if we make a mistake, that's on us. It's not on the community. So you're not going to get that. I don't know any other platform that will do that for you.
Garrett, did that conclude your comments and questions up here?
Yeah, it's great, guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for coming up and welcome aboard. Larry, you're up next.
Well, thanks everyone, and great job on the update. That really does look great. Just a quick question for Tal. I'm curious if you know if there's any progress being made in the state of Indiana for getting to be able to do loans.
So we put this year, like one of our top priorities is opening more jurisdictions in the U.S. and outside of the U.S. Indiana is one that we are working on, along with a lot of others, but I don't have update per each one. There's a lot of paperwork involved, and a lot of back and forth. But we are working on opening more jurisdictions this year. This is going to be a lot of focus on our side. So, crossing fingers. I'll have good news in a few months from now.
All right, thanks. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up, Larry. Next up is Alex.
Hi, guys. Good evening. A comment and a question. The comment is confirmation to what Alex said. I recently transferred funds from BlockFi 2 months in a row because you only get one free transfer a month, and my rates were cut in half. So yes, there's no place like Celsius. My question is, in the famous words of Scott, what are the top 3 nuggets that are in the new app that is coming? I don't have it yet, but I'm just curious. What would you say are the 3 top things in the app?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. And thanks for the BlockFi confirmation. So, what was the question again?
What are the top 3 features on the app that are going to be there for us? I don't have the app yet, but I'm just curious. What would you say are the top 3 features?
New features.
Yes.
Zach, you want to pick it up?
Yeah, I would say biggest new features that are upcoming are the in-app purchases, being able to convert fiat into crypto and crypto back to fiat. That's huge. The swaps with 250,000 limits for platinum users. Also huge accessibility and usability that you're always going to get a better deal than any other exchange. And then one that already exists today, but it's my personal favorite, is earning and sell. And you can now do that by holding 20% of your portfolio or 25,000 sell token and get 25% higher rates every Monday. So that's the hot stuff right there.
Okay,
We also
Zach, tell
have
me.
the wait. We also have the 0.1% on sell backed loans updated today with the app. So go check it out. I just checked it. It's live. This is one of the features that went live today as well.
Oh, cool, very cool. Zach, tell me about that $25,000 third feature you mentioned.
Yeah, so we updated our tier system in order to better accommodate for different variables, but you can either hold 20% of your portfolio in sell or have 25,000 sell token, and you'll be platinum, and that gives you the premium features of the app, which includes higher swap limits, lower loan rates, 25% higher reward rates every week. So like it pumps up USDC from 8.5 to I think 11%, and does that with all the assets on the app when you earn and sell. So that's one of my favorite features.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Thanks for coming up, Alex. Next up is Brian. Brian, you may need to take yourself off mute. All right, Reagan, you're up next.
Hey, Josh, thanks. Just branching on a little bit regarding DeFi. Most of the majority of users of Celsius sort of coming from the background that they don't really know, a whole heap about how DeFi works and liquidity farming and all that type of stuff. How do you sort of plan to navigate when Celsius X comes out? There's going to be a lot of sort of Celsians that don't have any sort of knowledge of how that works, but they're going to kind of get that sort of thrown in their face a little bit, and they're probably going to be sort of eager to sort of try that, but maybe not have the skill set to do it. How do you sort of plan on navigating those sort of those waters when Celsius X sort of starts launching a bit sort of full? Cheers.
Alex, did you catch that?
Yeah, I was on mute. Sorry. I was saying that using Celsius X is definitely for the pro. It's not for the beginner. So it's intended for people who are proficient on all the different chains. So it's not just about knowing DeFi. You actually have to understand how different chains operate and how pricing is done and where are the opportunities. And while Celsius will provide you with much more flexibility, so you'll be able to have, for example, Doge on new chain, or have a bunch of different assets on chains that don't exist today. You have to really know what you're doing, right? Because if you don't, somebody else will immediately take advantage of you mispricing something, or putting it in the wrong place or anything like that, right? So I would definitely not recommend using Celsius X as your entry into the DeFi market, right? That's not what it's intended for. And it's not like inside the Celsius app, you're in a protected zone, right? You can't really make a mistake, right? We protect you from all kind of silly things that people do with their MetaMask or their Coinbase or whatever, right? So when you're on Celsius X, you're in the wild. You can be attacked by wild animals. All kind of bad things can happen to you, right? You're in the bush, so um, you have to really be protected. You have to know your game. You have to really understand what's happening. And if you're not a pro, stay at home. Don't venture into the bush.
Yeah, I agree, and I thought that's probably pretty important to for everyone to sort of hear as well, especially when it launches. That's because you don't want people getting in trouble. The other one, if I can quickly, if there's been any talks already earlier regarding the Zach, what you're doing about Platinum for Life people, have you talked about that at all?
No, we haven't talked about that tonight. So the way that we're going to execute it, we have to be very, very selective on who we pick out of the community to bestow this upon. So I really appreciate any shout outs to anybody that you feel would be worthy, but it's going to be a very big reward for Platinum for Life.
Awesome.
Reagan.
Look forward to hearing more.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks for coming up again, Reagan. Otis, what's going on?
Hey, Josh, thanks. I have one question for Tal and two questions for Alex. And I'll ask a question to Tal first. Um, Tal, is it 0% in most jurisdictions and 0.1% where 0% is not available in that jurisdiction? And this is for sell-back loans.
So as you know, first, hi Otis.
Hi, Tal, how are you?
Good. I'm waiting for my flight. It's been delayed a little bit, so I have some time. So it's still 0% for California, right, and the UK, but the rest had the 1% until today, and today it's been updated to 0.1 to the rest. So if you take a 25% LTV loans against sell, then or you're getting the 0.1 or the 0. So that's our options now.
That is amazingly beautiful. Good
Thank
utility.
you. That's amazing work of our tech team. They delivered it very fast. Very, very great work from them.
Thank you guys very much. Alex, two questions. I'll ask them one at a time, and I don't think any of these are too tough. First, how do you plan to correlate the AUM to the price of sell so that sell token is no longer decoupled from the value of the company? I think it was asked earlier, but if you can just expand on it a bit more.
Well, look, first, I think there is a disconnect. I think most people don't understand what we're doing, so it's just going to take some time, right? I mean, again, the burn, you can see the increase of burn every week, right? If you're watching the AMA, most people don't understand that. They don't watch it, they don't follow it, they don't look at the numbers, and they don't think that that has anything to do with them, right? So obviously the burn is like again, like pouring gasoline on a fire, right? You definitely going to accelerate um, um, the growth of the cell token because there's less and less and less of it on more and more and more users and more and more and more assets. So, um, so that happens in most places, right? In most stocks, in most companies, people buy Amazon where it's $3,000 instead of buying it when it's $30, right? So you could have bought Amazon at $8 for like 2 years between 2001 and 2003, and no one wanted Amazon at $8. Everybody wants Amazon at $3,000, right? So it's gonna be the same thing with Cell Token. Like people don't understand what it does right now, and they think that Celsius has nothing to do with DeFi, or that again, I mentioned this before, right? How much revenues does a Solana have in total? Okay, how
Isn't
much
it
in
zero?
revenues? It's zero, right? They don't charge anything.
Mhm.
So how here is so when you compare and their valuation is what, their market cap is what, 50 or 60 billion or something like that.
Correct.
Okay. So you tell me, where would you place your bet, on Solana or on Celsius? Who's going to create more value, Solana or Celsius, from here? Celsius said that whatever, $2 billion valuation for the Sol token. Solana, the $60 billion valuation. Who's going to appreciate more in value over time? So those are the things that each person has to ask themselves. Watching, what do the companies do? What do they provide? What are the services? What are the utilities? And all that stuff, right? So again, we are number one in yield. We're number one in loans. We're number one in mining. We're number one. We're going to be number one in DeFi using Celsius X. When you see what we're doing on NFTs, you're going to say, shit, Celsius is going to be number one in NFTs. And still, most people would prefer Solana or Cardano or you name it, right? All the top 20 coins. So,
Do you
yep.
do you plan to burn Cell token based on the company's revenue?
Well, we work on that, but again, the point is that you can see. Just look at January and February and look at how much utility we've added to Cell token. Every few days, we've added something, right? As promised or ahead of schedule, I would say, right? So, a lot of people complaining. They're like, hey, we're not sure you're serious. You haven't done anything. I don't hear anyone complaining, right? We're just launching stuff every few days, launching something about to increase the utility of Cell token. Okay, so sooner or later, people will notice.
And the last question that I have is now that the 25K cell makes you platinum, as I recommended to Zach on that snow night in December when we spoke. How are the other tiers coming along? More specifically, the bronze tier, because if you get the bronze tier correct, and you get, let's just say, I don't know, 100,000 members in that tier, that's anywhere between 50 and 100 million sell off the market, depending on how many cell tokens are required to get in that tier. And that essentially, those cell tokens are locked up, and that's just the bronze tier.
Yeah. So I don't know, Zach. When are you changing the tiers?
Yeah, actually, for the bronze tier, Otis, we wanted to take a different approach and have zero barrier to entry because we found that people much rather like to test the waters before they, jump in the pool. So we're thinking for bronze tier to have zero cell requirement, still get a small bonus in cell when they earn in cell, and then have again the basic features of the app, and then have those requirements for silver, gold, and now we have platinum already set up, having a percentage and a cap for each of those other tiers. But for bronze specifically, I think the best way to go about it is to make it easy to earn and sell, make it easy for someone to try earning and sell without having to buy tokens at first. And then they kind of get a taste of it and they say, hey, maybe I want to be platinum, and then can act accordingly. But
Get a taste of Mashinsky is good water. But as I said,
exactly.
I don't have the books. I can just give you guys ideas. You guys have the numbers, and whatever works. I don't have the numbers. You guys have the numbers. I can just throw out ideas. But thank you very much, Zach. Thank you very much, Alex.
And I can tell you that I've already been contacted just today by several multi-million-dollar accounts that are for the first time buying that 25,000 cell token and will be earning in cell. And they've never done that before because it didn't make sense for them, but now it does. And I think the whole community is going to benefit because of that.
Zach, thank you for pushing my idea. Obviously, my number was lower. That didn't work, which I don't have the numbers as I said. So all I can do, or Rudy and I can do, is just push ideas, and you guys figure out the number based on the ideas. And the 25,000 number is what worked. So we go with that. That's what worked. So thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks, Otis.
Thanks for coming up, Otis. Next up is Captain.
Hey guys, how you doing? I kind of wanted just two quick questions. You kind of started explaining it in the previous caller, but I noticed in the new app you have the 25,000 cell token minimum, and for myself, that seems to give me an incentive to store more of my crypto on Celsius network, because otherwise getting that 25% would be very difficult. So my question is, have you guys considered partnering with a insurance company that caters to the individual members at all? Is that, because obviously that does get me a little nervous, keeping so much in one platform. But I do definitely, that $25,000 cell token platinum level is very attractive to me. So I'm really interested in insurance.
If I could ask first, Alex, could you tell me a little bit about your history with Celsius, and did you have any sell before or ever earned in sell
Um,
prior to
I'm
this?
I'm actually a member since 2000 late 2018, and I did have sell. I'm from the United States, so there was that 2 week, maybe 3 week period where you guys were allowing us to collect, rewards and sell on our Bitcoin and Ethereum, et cetera, et cetera. So I was able to get some in that short time period, and then I guess the legal stuff happened, and you had to stop that. And I have bought some on other exchanges, Uniswap, over the course of time. So yeah, I have some, um, but it never really made sense to me to try and go for that platinum level unless I actually removed some of my crypto and put it on, let's just say Kraken, BlackFi, Linden, one of these other type sites, so that I could get, it would be easier to hit that 25%. But now with this 25,000 cell token target, it certainly makes a lot more sense to store more crypto for me on the site. But I am definitely worried about, if I'm not going to diversify, I'm worried about some sort of insurance, being able to purchase some even. I certainly don't expect Celsius to insure everybody's tokens, but it would be great if I had the opportunity through Celsius to purchase some for, I have no idea of the going rates right now. But anyway, that's my question. But yeah, I've been a member since 2018. I even got my kids on it, and my wife now, and a lot of friends. So great, great,
Yeah.
great, great platform.
So the best insurance in crypto is a strong balance sheet, right? Like um, the second largest round of funding last year went to Celsius, 750 million, right? So if you're storing your coins on several platforms, let's say you're storing it on Nexo, how much money did they raise?
I have no idea. I actually don't use them. I have most of my coins in
No, but
Celsius.
I'm
Yeah,
but
I don't know, to be honest.
there's 300 other people on the call, so I'm talking to everybody, right? Not just to you. So I'm saying that Nexo didn't raise any money. You don't know what their balance sheet looks like, right? So basically, what every person has to do is really think hard about, okay, what is the financial standing of a company, right? Because like with life insurance, you can just go to AIG or you go to whatever, John Hancock or whatever, and these are regulated, well established, companies with a lot of assets. Unfortunately, in crypto, it doesn't work that way. It's not like you can, unless you're investing in Coinbase or something like that, you don't really know anything about these companies, right? Many of them are offshore, or they don't really follow any rules, or what they tell you one thing and they do something else, and so on. So in crypto, diversifying across multiple companies is taking more risk, not taking less risk. So I think I would recommend for everybody to do their homework and go with the safest company, not with putting stuff at three or four different places. I think that is increasing your risk, not decreasing your risk. Okay, so companies that are well funded, that are regulated, that are onshore versus offshore, like you mentioned, Kraken, it's a good example of a company like that, right? And then you have to decide, okay, which company is safer? How much money do they have? What does their management look like? And so on, right? And really decide what are you betting on, right? And how much assets do they manage? Did they ever get hacked, right? What is their transparency policy, and so on, so on. So when you pull all those things together, then you can make a decision. And again, if you know, I tell people all the time, right? You should never keep all your coins in one place, right? But putting them on two platforms is taking double the risk. So if you want to diversify, that would be keeping some coins in cold storage and putting some coins on Celsius. That gives you that diversification. Putting coins with two CeFi platforms is not diversification. That's increase in risk, as far as I'm concerned, right? So those would be my recommendation. Again, people who store stuff offshore. They don't understand. Like people are staking with companies in China or companies in Ukraine or companies in whatever. That is huge risk, right? There's a war risk. There's confiscation risk. There's all these things that can happen, and people don't understand. They think that they are staking with an American company just because the website is in English and it lists some address, but actually the nodes are sitting in China, or the nodes are sitting in whatever, because they don't know how to read the IP addresses. So there's a lot of kind of hidden risk, and you need to know where these companies are. You read the T's and C's. Well, who are you actually? Who's your counterparty? Right? Is it an American company, or is it some island in the Caribbean where they don't really enforce any rules like we do in the United States? So all these things matter. And again, I'm urging everybody to do your homework, right? And if you have questions, that's why we have this session, so you can ask questions and get straight answers.
Captain, did that conclude your?
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and I do agree with just about everything Alex said. I guess my biggest question was the insurance part. The only reason I was trying to, maybe move a little bit to say a company like say Lendon was I was just trying to maximize my yield, to be honest. And I knew that,
So
but
ask, do you think Ledin is a profitable company?
no, they honestly I don't think they compare to Celsius. Celsius to me
So
is
my
the best
point is,
one.
that's my point. Okay,
Yeah.
so
And now,
the
and now it
risk,
makes it.
the risk you're taking by earning whatever 1 or 2% more. Again, if you're a credit investor, Celsius beats Ledin on every asset if you earn and sell.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
asset.
Yeah,
Right.
and
So
I agree with everything you're saying. I guess the question I was really wondering, is there a possibility of being able to insure
the reason,
assets
look,
like with an
yep.
actual insurance company like Nexus Mutual? I haven't even looked into the
So
companies like that.
you know the last hack that Nexus Mutual covered was Badger.
Mm.
If you bought Nexus Mutual, what happened to you? Did you get paid when Badger got hacked? You didn't get paid. You understand? So find me one instance in which Nexus Mutual paid on a hack. Just find it. Show me one. You understand? So the problem is that I would gladly recommend, I'm not against insurance. I would gladly recommend a service after somebody shows me that this or that insurance company actually paid. You understand? So again, when companies tell you they have insurance, they all claim they have insurance. None of that insurance covers lending out your coins to somebody else. Okay, so for example, Ledin, even though they have insurance, the insurance only covers cold storage, but none of their coins are in cold storage. They lent them out. The insurance does not cover counterparty risk. So it's useless insurance. When BlockFi, Nexo, or Crypto.com tell you they have insurance, it does not cover loans. It only covers cold storage. There is no way to earn yield on cold storage. So you cannot earn yield and have insurance at the same time. It's an oxymoron. Okay, so again, Celsius is the only one that tells you the truth. Everybody else just lying to you. You think you have insurance, but then when something happens, you don't get paid. It's not covered. You understand? So now we tell everybody, hey, Celsius does not. We have insurance. We have insurance with Fireblocks in case somebody hacks their MPC. We have insurance with GK8, $500 million worth of insurance. But I'm telling, even though we have that insurance, right? We are not using it because most of our loans, most of our coins are lent out. You understand? So I have the insurance, but I'm telling you, I don't have it. I can. It's not going to cover your loans. It's not going to cover your coins. And that's what no one is telling you. Everybody's lying to you. Okay, and that's why we're not recommending any insurance. Unfortunately, right? The minute there is one that we think pays, we will be gladly buying.
Alex, I think you cut out there. And Zach, just confirm. Did he cut out for you as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
All right. Well, Captain, did you catch
Yeah,
the?
that was great. Yes, I did. Now he was yeah. I appreciate it, and he definitely, I learned a little bit there. So thank you. Appreciate what you guys do.
And
Yep.
we've been saying that consistently for 4 years. It's not something new that I just revealed tonight. I mean, if you've been following us on AMAs or Twitter or whatever, again, this is not an easy thing to say. It's much easier to lie and say, hey, GK has 550 million of insurance, and then implying that somehow you're covered. That's what all these idiots are trying to sell you. Now we own GK8. We have Lloyd's insurance there. And if you put your coins in cold storage there, you are covered, but you cannot earn interest and be covered at the same time. You have to make a choice. Okay? So for everybody on the call, just you know, and it's fine. You want to you want to keep your coins in cold storage with insurance. We have that feature. We have that option. And we can introduce you to GK8 and they can open an account with them and they will that's one of the safest places to. Okay, all of eToro's coins are in with GK8. There's a bunch of banks keep all their coins with GK8. You can do the same thing and have insurance on top of it, but you cannot earn yield and have insurance at the same time.
Captain, did that conclude your? Did that give you the answers there? The cold hard truth.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for coming up. And just so you know, there are conversations about creating dedicated pools for people, but we don't have any information on that right now. Hopefully, more to come later this year. Alex, we're at top of the hour. We're a little bit past it. You want to give some closing thoughts?
Well, we talked about Gensler, so let's see if it's probably going to pop into the news later this week. So watch Bitcoin, watch to see what it does. Again, if it runs up like crazy because everybody thinks it's good news, just remember that Gensler is not here to help you. Gensler is here to help Gensler, right? And I think he had political aspiration, which nothing's wrong with that, right? We want the best people in government and the best people in to be our Treasury Secretary. So, but we don't know what he's going to do as Treasury Secretary. We don't know if it's going to be good for Bitcoin or bad for Bitcoin, right? So, and obviously there's a lot of other stuff going on. Um, we may retest previous lows, right? If bad news come out, and you have to be ready. If you have a loan, you have to be ready. If you want to average in, right? So you got to have some dry powder on the sidelines. If you think that that's a good entry point, but if Bitcoin rips higher, you have to decide. Like I always say, it's hodl and rebalance. Those two go together, hand in hand. So each one of you has to decide. We don't give financial advice. What each one of you has to decide is, at what point do I have too much Bitcoin? Normally, it's when you don't sleep well at night. That means you have too much Bitcoin. You keep thinking about it. And if you're sleeping too good at night, that means you don't have enough, right? So you got to find that sweet balance between not enough, not too much, right? And if you have too much, you rebalance. If you don't have enough, you should average in, right? You should take some of that dry powder and put it to work. But overall, long term, again, our government continues to print dollars. Inflation is eating away at whatever you already own. And there's no better asset today out there than digital currencies and specifically Bitcoin, right? I would say, out of all the digital assets, the safest asset out there. Again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for following us. Again, the team, as you can see, the Cell Team 6 and the Lone Queen work around the clock to help you with achieving financial freedom. I see Joshua is here too. Josh X, who's working day and night to launch Celsius X, and he's also on the Cell Team 6. He's got double duty. He's both on the in the SEAL team and in the uh, you know, what is the other top unit? I don't even know what my analogy is here. He's in the Green Berets or whatever, right? So he's doing double duty here. So, but look, we're all in this together, right? We're all huddling together. We're all trying to get to the other side, and sharing information, sharing the knowledge, the love, the, you know, and keeping each other safe from, like you said, you heard Cellcat just warn us before about the scam going on Google. There's another one every day. There's a scam every day. There's somebody out there trying to steal your coins from you. So stay safe. Don't press any buttons. Don't do anything that you're not familiar with. And this way we're gonna get to the finish line. Have a good night, and thanks again for joining.
Thanks, Alex. As we tell you every week, we work hard to run these rooms, so make sure you're following myself, Zach, and Scott, not only to keep up when we open these rooms, but also to keep up on what we might drop from Cell Team 6 and everything Celsius. Also, there's South Texan, Joshua, who's also part of Cell Team 6 down there in the audience, and then Celsius Bro, who also works really hard to keep the weekly rooms running for you guys. Hope everyone got something out of this, and enjoy the rest of your night. Catch you next week.